Hello once again, all my comic collecting friends in the YouTube comic community. It's Matt, Comic Order 410. I'm here to bring you part 2 of my stuff from Baltimore Comic Con. And starting off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment on my last 2 vids. Always appreciate you stopping by, and I will try to respond to those comments by tomorrow. So sorry about that. And before I get started, I also want to say on Sunday, I ran into our friend from the comic community, Notawog. Brian was up there working a table for his local comic shop, and he had his son with him. He was sending his son around to get his book signed. And Brian's a hell of a nice guy. We had a couple cool conversations, and I was going to see Mark Waid, so I took his Empire Zero over there and got it signed for him, and learned something new all the time. And at the table Brian was working, I saw these classic G.I. Joes that were, the UPC was different, and I remember they were in like multi-packs, like a grocery store or something, and I was like, I have that issue, and he's like, oh yeah, they're worth a little bit now. So did not know that, so thanks for that information. It was definitely nice meeting you. If you guys are not subscribed to Notawog, please go check Brian's channel out. He's a cool guy. There'll be a link below. And Brian, if you come up to Baltimore again for any shows, please give me a message ahead of time, and if I go to any shows down your way, I'll give you a message too. But definitely good meeting you and talking with you, buddy. But starting off here, this is the Bob's Burgers #1 sketch cover exclusive from Baltimore Comic Con. It's by Dynamite. Really excited about this series. This is Boom Studios' new George Perez book, Sirens. It's a 6-issue mini, and they had 2 exclusive variants at my con. This is one of them. And this is the more limited of the 2 covers. Gorgeous variant here. I really like that, and I'm really interested to read this. It's all female heroes, I believe. So George Perez is the man. And also got this exclusive variant. This is a Virgin cover by Frank Cho to Big Trouble in Little China #1, also exclusive to the show. Very cool. Messias was talking about this book that he had ordered a copy, and it's the Desert Wind Comics exclusive variant to Death of Wolverine #1. And Desert Wind had a table there. They were selling these for $15. So I got this. This is a gorgeous Herb Trimpe cover of Wolverine being killed by the Hulk, and looks like Wendigo's already been dealt with. Just a beautiful Herb Trimpe cover. And I got Herb to sign it, and writer Charles Soule was there as well, so I got him to sign it. Very cool. And my understanding is that this issue has an alternate ending to Hulk 181, so that's really cool. Have not read it yet, though. This is Ken Hazer's variant to Dr. Spectre #1. Really like that with the Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Ghost. And Ken signed that. I forgot to get Blair to sign it because he wasn't at the table when I grabbed these, but I have to get up with him next time. And this is the variant that Ken Hazer, Buzz Hassan, and Blair Smith did for Magnus Robot Fighter #1. Take on Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Very cool. Those guys signed it for me. They're awesome. Please check out their books. Got to meet Al Milgrom finally. He was a hell of a nice guy. God, he talked to everybody for so long, and he was cracking up because I brought up that comic US1 he did with the trucker that had the cybernetic implant in his brain so he could mentally communicate with other truckers' CBs, and he was cracking up that I remembered that. It was based on a Tycho RC track, I think. Like, how they try to do toy line tie-ins for comics because G.I. Joe and Transformers and all them were so successful. They made like one Tycho RC track for this US1, and they did a comic series, and that was about it. But Al was nice. He signed my Firestorm #1. It's with CGC, even though when I looked over it, it wasn't as good as I thought. It's not gonna come back near mint, but I don't care. I just wanted it certified by Al Milgrom, and definitely an awesome guy. I love it when I meet a great creator and it's not a letdown. Al also signed my Firestorm #2, which is in much better shape than #1, and my Firestorm #3, which is first appearance of Killer Frost. Very, very cool guy. And last but not least, Al Milgrom signed my Amazing Spider-Man 195. This is second appearance of Black Cat. So, excellent time meeting him. Also met one of my all-time favorite cover artists, Mike Zeck. And I wanted to get something CGC'd by him, but he was charging more money for CGC. He was charging $3 per signature. You could buy a COA from him. I think it was $4 or $5 extra. And CGC, to get a book CGC was either 10 or 20 you had to give him. And I really wanted to. I wanted to get my Secret Wars number 8 CGC'd, but I finally got to him on the last day, and I had already gone way over my budget then, so unfortunately I didn't do it. But I did get some books signed by him, and he's one of my all-time favorites. I know many of you in this community also really, really love the covers he did to the Punisher miniseries. So I got my number 1 signed by Mike Zack. This is another one of my favorite storylines he worked on, Kraven's Last Hunt. He signed my part 1, Web of Spider-Man 31. Awesome cover again. And Batman 10 Nights of the Beast Part 1, Batman 417. He signed it, and last year I got it signed real small there by Jim Starlin. So, really love that. If you guys haven't read that story arc, do yourself a favor and check it out. Rags Morales was there, got to meet him too. He is super nice. He signed my first wave, number 1. Even though J.G. Jones did the cover, he signed it. Sorry, I think these are out of order because part 1 and 2 aren't there. But this is the Justice League of America storyline that, excuse me, that tied in with Identity Crisis. So he signed those for me. And Rags was charging, but I think it was 3 books for free and then $1 for each book beyond that. So more than fair. And he was really cool. I talked to him for a while, and I talked to him about his beef with Rob Liefeld, so we had a nice conversation about that. Quickly, Rob Liefeld had the audacity to make fun of the way this man draws, and Rags replied online to him, and he said, I don't know if it was Twitter or what, but he said, Rob, he said, you'd lop your hand off at the wrist to be able to draw like me if you knew what a wrist looked like. And I was like, damn. So yeah, and he apparently got a lot of respect from fans. A lot of fans were happy he said that. But, you know, for Rob Liefeld to go with this guy like he can't draw, that kind of boggles my mind. But whatever. Anyway, Rags signed my JLA 117. I think it's part 3. 118. Love this Zatanna cover where she's brainwashing, given the magical lobotomy to Dr. Light. Very cool. 119, another amazing Rags Morales cover. Yeah, you trying to say that guy can't draw, Rob Liefeld? Give me a break. And yeah, this is part 1. Rags signed that too. And probably my favorite cover of that storyline, JLA 116, with Batman punching out Hawkman. Rags Morales is really cool. And last but not least, he signed my Identity Crisis number 1. Very, very cool guy. Speaking of cool guys, Adam Hughes was there again. I got to meet him before, but he was there with his wife, Allison San. And I submitted my Star Wars Purge and my Vampirella number 1 to CGC, so they have those. But being con season and that they didn't get to them on site, which, by the way, real quick, CGC kind of screwed me. I had an open invoice. I got a bunch of books done Friday, and at the end of the day, I went to the table and was like, look, to get it done on site, I know 5 o'clock today's the cutoff. Do I have to close out my account, or will you start grading them and I can just add more to it and pay them later? And like, oh, no, you can leave it open. It's fine. And that turned out to not be true, and they didn't grade any of my books, and now I have to wait for them to ship them to me in 2 or 3 months. And I think another part of that was people were complaining online that dealers ruined the cutoff, and a lot of people got screwed out of getting their books on site graded because dealers were, quote unquote, submitting long boxes full of books on Friday. And gee, I wonder who that could be. Yes, that douchebag that I was behind in Herb Trimpe's line, that was an hour before the CGC cutoff on Friday. So something else we can thank that guy for. What a turd. Anyway, Adam Hughes was nice enough to sign my Justice League number 6 variant. This beautiful cover he did of Black Canary. Kick-Ass 3, number 1, he did this gorgeous variant of Hit Girl. And he signed that for me. Really like that cover. And I know this isn't really worth anything, but this is probably my favorite Vampirella cover that Adam Hughes has ever done. I love this with the werewolf, with the bloody claws. He's got Vampirella hemmed up. He's got the wolves at his feet. Beautiful, beautiful cover. And Adam Hughes he wouldn't do sketches last year because somebody screwed him and gave him a sob story about his daughter wanted a sketch. He'd wait for it, da-da-da-da-da. And that night it was posted on eBay. And this was last year, and I came to him on Sunday and asked if he'd do a sketch. He's like, I'm not sketching anymore. And I think he was just mad about that because this year he was only doing little quick sketches because he had a line, but he did a nice little quick Wonder Woman sketch for me. Adam's very nice. So very happy to have that from one of the greatest artists out there. And his wife, Allison Son, is super talented too. And I got this gorgeous Red Sonja print from her. Beautiful. And she signed it. It's signed and numbered. This is, got there on the first day, so I got the third one. There's only 50 of these. So, happy to have that as well. Very cool. Sorry, let me move some things. Alrighty. Also, as you know, I met Herb Trimpe. Very nice guy. His wife's a sweetheart. And last year I got my Godzilla number 1 and 3 signed. And this year he signed my number 2. Very cool. Met Walt and his wife Louise were there. Two of the nicest people in the industry. And got to meet him again. And this is just, to me, one of the most memorable covers of my youth. I remember this book when it came out, and I just really love this cover. And Walt, I believe it's a wraparound, and Walt signed this for me. Very cool. Marvel Comics Presents number 1. This is Marvel Premiere 57. This is the first American comic book appearance of Doctor Who. And Walt did this gorgeous cover, and he signed it for me. Very happy to have that. His wife, very sweet lady, and she signed my Man of Steel number 1. And she signed my Man of Steel number 22. I believe, if my memory serves me correct, this is the first appearance of Steel. So I'll have to double check that, or if anybody knows for sure, please let me know. But either way, got it signed. Now, this was one of the experiences I was most excited about this year, and I'm going to go ahead and start off by showing you this. I'm a big Grendel fan, big Matt Wagner fan, and this year, the show and yearbook was dedicated to celebrating Matt Wagner's Grendel, and I'm going to have to go through and show you guys and girls this sometime in detail. But, I mean, look, look at some of these beautiful, basically they had, you know, this is by Richard Clark here, beautiful piece here by John K. Snyder. And just all these different artists' takes on Grendel, so I'll have to go through and show it to you all. But I asked Matt Wagner to sign it, and didn't even ask him. He just did a quick Grendel head sketch in there. Badass. Such a nice guy. And it's so nice when you meet somebody that you've idolized, and they're so cool. And he also, I gave him this, my Grendel number 1, and I had him sign my primer too. That is also with CGC right now. But this is Grendel Volume 2, number 1, and my dumbass forgot to take my Grendel Volume 1, number 1. I'm so mad at myself because it's in a Golden Age Mylar, so I had it in a magazine box, and I totally forgot to grab it. But anyway, again, without asking, he took my Grendel number 1, he signed it there. Another little quick Grendel head sketch. I didn't even ask him, but that's how cool Matt Wagner is. Saw my Grendel number 2. Number 3. Actually, I've never met him, but I already have a Grendel Warchild number 1 signed by him. And they're all COAs because I got them from Hero Initiative. And a Mage 5 and 6 I have signed by him. So, but I bought them already signed, and this was my first meeting with him. So he commented when I handed him my silverbacks, and this is about Argent, Grendel's villain, and he was impressed because I was like, yeah, I heard these are never going to be reprinted due to copyright and legalities. Like, yeah, they've never been reprinted. They probably never will be. He's like, they're not worth a lot, but You know, if you're a Grendel fan, they're kind of hard to come by. So he signed my Silverback number 1, number 2, and number 3. Really love this series. Matt Wagner's done some amazing Batman work, and he signed my Batman Grendel number 1 and my Batman Grendel number 2. Such a cool guy Matt Wagner was. And not last, but the last comic he signed for me was Grendel number 5. But I got these 2 things that I was just stoked about. First off, this is a laser cell, and it's a repro of his art from the yearbook, and he signed it. And these laser cells were limited to 50 pieces. So I grabbed one of those, and he signed it. And this was not cheap, but I was determined to get a Grendel piece done by Matt Wagner. And he charged me a lot, but look at the work he put in. This is an original full-color, sketched, inked, full-color Grendel piece by Matt Wagner. Hunter Rose in the tuxedo. This was not cheap, but I was just blown away, and as a Grendel fan, I'm just so appreciative to have this. So, wow. Thank you, Matt Wagner. Hell of a cool guy, and actually his son Brennan Wagner is with him. His son's his colorist now, so he was cool as hell too. Just great guys, and it just makes me all that more enthusiastic about being a fan and supporting their work. But I do have more stuff to show, and I'll do a part 3 hopefully tomorrow, the next day, and I'll be showing my favorite piece that I got at the show. No, don't fall. Okay, it's okay. But I'll be showing my favorite piece that I got at the show. So please, damn, don't want to mess that up. I'm setting that up again. But, yeah. Anyway, I'll be showing my favorite piece that Barry Kitson did for me this year. So, and a few other good things. So, thank you all for taking the time to stop by. I always appreciate it. Everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and enjoy your comic book reading.